So else would you say about people coming to you for astrology? What else can they learn about themselves?
Well, they can learn about life lessons and the purpose of the purpose of things happening to them. And for example, at age 19, my good friend fell in love and got married and had children, but it didn't happen in that order. And so when many 20-somethings are out sailing boats and climbing mountains and traveling the world, he was home babysitting and trying to figure out how to make a living to support his family. So it got to be kind of a restriction for him. He felt kind of envy for his friends who had their freedom. So I looked at his chart, and he had Saturn conjunct his south node in the 4th house.
And what does that mean?
So, so that gets kind of technical. The south node is your karma that you bring into this life with you. It's what you're used to. It's where you come from. It's what you know. It's the safe and secure. You're used to this. The devil you know is better than the devil you don't know, and that's the south node. And Saturn is the planet of lessons. So Saturn shows up where special lessons have to be learned. And the 4th house is family. It's home, mother, and father. And so this configuration, Saturn conjunct the south node in the 4th house, it indicates special lessons to learn about family commitments. So it could indicate that in a prior lifetime this person disregarded his family obligations, and in this lifetime the lesson is commitment and follow through. So he felt kind of resentful and he felt like a victim here, but when he learned about his astrology, his attitude changed, and he was able to see that this is his lesson, this is his destiny to learn this. So he was able to change his attitude and embrace the opportunity to love these kids and become a better father and a better husband. And he was happier under these circumstances. So he transformed his karma from being an angry young man into he embraced his situation. So,
wow, it is very amazing to me, because he started out with his family at such a young age, because I think he was bringing into this lifetime with him the idea that he needed to work on family.
Yes.
And being committed to having his family and being with his family. But once he realized that even though he was young and that he was destined to be a family person and to help his family, because he was dedicated to his family, to stay with them instead of just walking away from it. So he was able to do it more joyfully. Yes. And enjoy his children and enjoy the people around him, and to embrace his life rather than be angry about it.
Right.
And so that totally would transform somebody in the way they live their life and the attitude they have, not only towards themselves but towards the other people and his children.
Right.
So the astrology made a huge difference in him waking up to and helping him to become more aware of his situation.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I have that right?
Yeah, you got it all just right.
Perfect. So this is a great example of how astrology can make a difference in your life.
Yes. I looked at one woman's chart, and she had Black Lilith conjunct her moon. So this is a little more complex. The moon is in an oblong orbit around the Earth. It's not just a direct circle. So there's a point at which the moon is the furthest away from the Earth, and that's called the apogee. The astronomers call it the apogee, and the astrologers call it Black Lilith. So her moon conjuncted Black Lilith. So when she was born, the moon was at the furthest point away from the Earth. So Lilith is an interesting character. It's the legend of Lilith. She was supposedly the first Eve in the Garden of Eden, but she was made from the clay of the earth just like Adam, and so she figured she was Adam's equal, and Adam figured she should be subservient to him because he was the man, and so she's really like the first liberated woman. Well, she wasn't having any part of that, and she took off, so then Eve had to be made from Adam's rib. And some people say that Lilith came back as the snake. So Lilith is this interesting mystical character, and I follow her in the charts because she's so interesting. And the moon is emotion, so when it's the furthest from the earth, it's the least emotional. So if you've got Black Lilith conjunct the moon, this person is not tied down by her emotions. And that's what I pointed out to this lady. It looks like you don't fly off the handle easily. You're not emotional. She said, as a matter of fact, her husband or her family thinks that she's emotionless, that she's just cold-hearted jerk. So, the worst of it was she was beginning to believe them, because they just kept this up all the time about how, well, you never cry this and this, blah, 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 blah. And so I said, no, you feel things. She had a Scorpio moon, and I said, Scorpios feel things very deeply. It's just you're able to be mature in the situation and not get carried away by your emotions. And so it'd be like that poem by Kipling. If you can keep your head when all about you others are losing theirs and blaming it on you, then you'll be a man, or in this case a woman, or Lilith. So I told her she was exhibiting maturity with the help of Black Lilith. And when she heard this, she brightened, because there wasn't anything wrong with her. She just understood her position. She understood this part about her. So she emailed me a couple weeks later and said, thanking me for the reading and saying it changed her life. And now she's calling herself Lilith, and she's happy, and she loves herself again. She understands herself. So that's what astrology can do, is help you get insights into your own personality.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And I know about Scorpios that they're very secretive also. So, she may be, pushing it down into their deepest depths of her soul, and, not showing the emotional side, even though she does feel it, she knows it's there. It just wasn't surfacing.
Right.
And she wasn't getting carried away, with the emotions, because like you mentioned before, there was a funeral, and everybody else was wailing and crying, but, she did not get carried away with that, and she was able to keep a straight head on her shoulders, where, she was able to, take care of everything, all the details, and everybody else was just emotionally caught up with it.
Right.
So, but it makes a big difference, though, to realize, why you think the way you do, why you act the way you do, what you say, also is very powerful. And can make a huge difference in your life when you realize why you are a certain way, and then you can embrace that part about you and say, well, this is who I am, and, to love yourself, and no matter what it is about you, I mean, that's just unconditional love that you can, provide for who you really are.
Right. If you can understand yourself, it's a lot easier to go with the flow.
Absolutely. Right. Go with the flow. Go gently down that stream,
right.
as possible.
Right. It can also help with relationship issues. So if you can learn more about a potential mate in a quick reading, then you'll learn things from a reading that you wouldn't learn in years of living with someone, as to the inner workings of how they are and how well they're going to suit you and what you're looking for in a relationship. Now, like I'm acquainted with this woman who's very nice, and she's very smart and good looking and funny, and we're good friends, and we have a lot in common. But my Saturn opposes her sun, and her sun squares my Saturn. So basically what that means is the closer we get, the harder it's going to be. So we can be friends and see each other socially and have great conversation, and everything's great. But if we tried this boy-girl stuff, I know that we just run into problems. So it helps me to stay out of situations too,
Right. And, to follow your heart, in relationships, and to know, where you can go with certain people, like how people can interact with you. And so when you have that extra information that also helps you to realize the boundaries of certain relationships, or where you can take the relationship to, or have better insight as to how to be a better partner.
It helps you. It helps. So, in conclusion, astrology can help us better understand our own lives as well as the lives of our friends and family around us. Forewarned is forearmed. And always remember, the stars incline, they do not compel. If we understand our deepest energies, we don't have to be held hostage by them. We can be free.
That's absolutely fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Peter. And I know that we could have people reach out to SunGates Center if they'd like more information or to have a reading with you. They can also call SunGates at 847-345-0988, or they could reach you at astrologybypeter@gmail.com.
That's it.
That's it. So thank you again, Peter. It was a pleasure having you, and we look forward to talking to you again.
Okay, thanks a lot, Sharon.
Thank you, and I want to thank our audience members for listening, and I want to wish you a happy and healthy, wonderful, prosperous day. Thank you.